Sa boxing, we've always been there. We broke through in a big, big way this year. I asked this question kay Nesty the other night, and in fairness, sabi niya nga, naku, hindi ko talaga alam kasi ang context ko lang yung sarili ko. But taking the longer view, what changed? Paano, alin ang nag-level up sa boxing program and take that as a template for all the other sports?
Well, the biggest change was, I guess, the judging in the Olympics today. So IOC took over the management of delivering boxing tournament in the Olympics, and I thought it was a better managed and better governance. So that helped a lot. If we only had that much earlier, then we probably would have fared better. Okay. But it's not perfect. We talked about what to do next, boxing, because the Olympics is quite near. And since we don't have the technology and the facilities in the country, and it will take us years to build one, we were looking at investing in sending our boxers to Center of Excellence. That could be in the U.S., which we did for Umir, or that could be somewhere in Europe. Of course, that's working with all our sponsors, and that helped. The other thing that helped and that should continue to happen, I think, is what MVP said. Foreign coaches give you a new perspective. It's outside looking in. Because in boxing, it's always been our local coaches. So when we brought in a foreign coach, an Australian who's been to the Olympics, it was outside looking in, and he gave us a different perspective, a different discipline, a different view on how we should look at boxing in the ring as well. So the other thing is we need to immediately start on international competition. Get our boxers out there. I know there's time to rest and celebrate, but after that we should get them back and start their training again. But this time bring them to international competition immediately. I mean, it is so important that it has to be done right away kasi next year SEA Games na eh. Katapos Asian Games na. Katapos, before you know it, you have to go to the qualifications of Olympics. So that's the short-term view. The long-term view is is what MVP is saying. Get the community involved, which is the business, the government, because we cannot live without the government, the organization that works with the Olympics, the Philippine Olympic Committee, and I guess also the media, which is the third aspect that makes the sports popular, that broadcasts support to people, to the grassroots. On the long term, and this has been our vision a long time ago when we started MVPSF with MVP saying, we really need to build grassroots program. Marcial, Irish, Carlo, Paalam, they all came from the grassroots. They were 12 years old, 15 years old. I remember Carlos in Cagayan de Oro when we saw that boy. So I remember Umir. So this is where you build it up. And it was this grassroots development that we did in boxing. And you know who started that? PLDT started that. So we were going all over the Philippines doing grassroots tournament. And PLDT with the LGU started working on those.
Robbie,
so long term, that's what's important.
Yeah, if I may add to it, and Ricky will not say this because of course he heads up, but the leadership and the governance of the NSAs are very, very critical. I think that's one of the aspects of the POC that we want to also. I mean, I also am part of the POC where governance of the NSAs are very, very important, and then you get recognition with the International Federation, along with what MVP has been pushing on us across all sports, basketball, for example, boxing, you need to benchmark ourselves against international competition, di ba? And it needs a lot of, I guess, humility to say that we're not at par in certain aspects. And what do we do to be able to compete internationally? So that's always been the mindset. We can do better, we can improve, we need all the help from coaches to training to international competition. But I guess on top of the governance, it's really commitment in making it happen. No? Again, 10 years ito, no? Journey for the first gold. We would need to rewrite the vision of MBPSF because we achieved the first gold. But I think, to me nga, as I said earlier, I think the pride in seeing the Filipino flag, up there as number one, even number two, number three, just being shown there, that gives so much pride and inspiration to a lot of Filipinos. I think that's powerful to me.
So I think if I may just close this topic, Robbie, number one is what I indicated to Ami. I think we need a broader support from corporations and the community to get this a broad-based sports, a grassroots sports going. And number two is, sure, I think we should send our athletes to centers of excellence so they can train and compete against athletes that are world class. No? That's the only way to, because I know there's a certain league here that prohibited foreign athletes from competing in basketball, di ba? Yung mga bata, when they go abroad, they see a 7-footer. So how will they deal with that? If they see them for the first time, they gotta immerse themselves into a situation that will not be new when they go abroad. The third point I want to make is that, but we do need a center for sports excellence in this country. And we're thinking, actually, we've already drawn up plans and we're implementing them to convert the First Pacific Leadership Academy, which is about a 15-hectare property in Antipolo, into a into a sports center. Because they already have the hotel facilities there, they have meeting rooms, and they have the space to build badminton courts, boxing rings, basketball courts, of course, and the like. No? So, and we have sports psychologists, trainers, coaches living there as well. So it will be effectively a national sports center. We don't want them to be far away from schools because we want these youth to continue with their studies.